Okay, I think we'll get started. So today we're going to talk about using the MQTT communication protocol to communicate among the LuckFoxes that are present in our network. So if you've been following along, we've networked together 4 LuckFoxes. We've seen the actual build, the physical build of the system, and then we have in the last video we've synced a drive so they can all access the same drive. Well, now we want to be able to talk amongst each other, and the project that we're going to do for today is to just have a system display that gives information, live updating information on an OLED screen about the conditions of each of the LuckFoxes in the system. So one way to do that, one good way to do that, is through the MQTT protocol, and we're going to use the Mosquitto broker. This is a common one used when working with Raspberry Pi and other things. And this will involve then writing Python programs to utilize the MQTT protocol with this PAHO Python package. All right, I'm certainly not an expert on the ins and outs of MQTT. There's a number of good videos out there. I'll link to one in the discussion through Gary Explains YouTube channel. Pretty good discussion of what MQTT is, but basically it's a hub and spoke type model where the peripheral devices will communicate to a broker, but not so to communicate to the broker, not directly to each other. And so a individual device then will either subscribe to a topic sent out by the broker or publish information to the broker. So the broker is this access, this central hub to pull in information from outside peripherals and then to push information out to outside peripherals. Further, the information is categorized by topic. So you have a particular topic, and so a device might listen for only one particular topic. For example, temperature or on or off condition of this particular device, or water pressure or something like that. So this is sort of the general schematic, different subscriptions, different publications. The broker itself can publish to itself, can subscribe to itself. And so while this is largely a symmetric communication amongst the LuckFoxes, we do have to choose one of them to be the broker. So that introduces a little bit of asymmetry. But since the broker can talk to itself, in the running of the communication, it's really very symmetric. So we're going to choose the top one as our broker. So we built from the bottom, and I've called them LuckFox 200, 202, 204, 206. 206 is going to be the broker. 200, 202, 204 are just going to report their conditions. We're going to report the temperature of the chip. There's an internal monitor of that, so it can report that. The memory usage and the uptime, how long it's been up, running without a reboot, and then the actual time of the report. So that will all get reported to number 206. 206 will also report to itself. And then that information will be parsed by another program running on 206 that will send that information to an LED. So each of these will run one Python program that just reports the information. 206 will also run that Python program, but 206 will also have another program that's receiving that information and then utilizing the I2C protocol to talk to the OLED chip. So if you're just joining us and you haven't been following along with the series, then a couple of good places to start are with the LuckFox tutorial. So if you've just gotten your LuckFox tutorial and Fusion Automate YouTube channel together, this will really help you get it set up. Fusion Automate has a nice video on how to set up the Ubuntu system or the Ubuntu Linux distribution on the LuckFox, and that's what we've been using. So we're always using Ubuntu Linux to talk as the operating system for the LuckFoxes. Then in our other series, the one where we're focused just on the LuckFox proper, not on the network system, Lab 1 is the whole setup, and then Lab 5, sorry, is communication with the OLED. So those two might be interesting to you. And then I already mentioned for the MQTT protocol, this Gary Explains video, but there are tons of other videos out there that do a great job explaining MQTT, much better than I could explain. All right, so I think that's it. Let's get to the computer and see what's going on. Okay, I think we'll first take a look at the physical setup. So added something since the last video. I went to the machine shop and just made these aluminum rails to go on the top level. So we have LuckFox 200, 20, if you're looking at the side here, 200, 202, 204, 206, and now we have this top rail that will allow for a mounting point for the OLED that we're going to use to display information about the LuckFoxes. So each one of these LuckFoxes will use MQTT protocol to send to the broker, which is going to be LuckFox 206, as we talked about on the board. And then the OLED is connected physically to the I2C3 pins, just like we've been doing in the other LuckFox series. And so the setup for the OLED will be very, very similar to that. And in fact, we'll run a quick test here now to see just that the OLED is working. So let me switch here now to just the top view. And if you've been following along on both series, then you'll have this program. I'm in my main directory here that I'm doing these projects on, and I'm just going to go sudo python 3 Luma font. Now, if you haven't been following along, you won't have this, program. If you want to test out your LED first, then I would suggest looking at our video on doing that. I think it's video number 5 in the other playlist, the playlist of just the LuckFox itself, not the network. And so we see here, if you look on the screen over here, we get our information projected to the OLED. Now, the other LuckFoxes are not able to directly access the OLED, but the information that they send to 206, then 206 can process that and display that information to the OLED, which is exactly what we're going to be doing in terms of developing this system monitoring device. Okay, let's just do a little setup here that you'll be very quick for you to do. So I'm going to I added already. So if I look at my directory here, this is the Luma font file, and then this is mqtt.com. This is a new directory. I kept this separate. I could have just used the project directory directly or any other directory. In fact, you may want to even get this out of your projects directory and just put it, an offshoot of your home directory. But anyway, we're going to have it here for this video. Now, as we go through things, then sometimes we're going to need the path. If you've chosen a different path or uses a different name, then you'll have to be alert to that. Another thing to be alert of is, of course, I've put Darren as the user here. You might have probably not put Darren as the user. Okay, so let's cd into mqtt.com. or _com. Now, I already have the two necessary programs here. I'm going to list those, and I'll show you now where to go out and get those. Also, we'll get a setup guide, which we'll go through. So you should, at this point, have decided where you want to run these files out of. And there are going to be two files we need on this computer, on the computer you've chosen for the broker, OLED display, and then OLED's display 2 and OLED and status reporter 2. Now status reporter 2 will need to go on all of your LuckFoxes, so you would do something very similar to this, but those that are not going to be a broker, just have mqtt.com or _com and put status reporter 2 in there. You don't need display report, the display, because they're not doing the displaying. Okay, so let's go get what we need. So we'll need to go to our website. So Darren Olness, and just the darrenolness.com. And then under teaching, let's go LuckFox, and we'll work our way down here. We're near the end here, MQTT setup guide. So we'll get that in a moment. These are the two files. So if you haven't been following along on this page, I need to put them up there as .text files, but they're really Python files. They're also available on the GitHub page, so directly as Python files. So this is what they look like. Just one thing of note: this line needs to be in here for later use when we're going to set this up to just start automatically. So make sure you get that copied in, copied the whole thing in. Okay, so those are the different programs. Now let's go to the study guide, or the setup guide. So this is a PDF file. I have this already on my machine, so you can download that, and we'll just follow along here now. And so we'll set this up on, we'll set up 206 first as the broker and what it needs to do. Then we'll set it up as the client, and on the other LuckFoxes, then all you have to do is the client side. You don't need to do the broker side. And I won't, just for the sake of time, I won't do that, all of them in this video. So let's get started here on section 5 here, setting up the MQTT broker. I should mention, if you haven't done so, make sure that you are changing the host names so that each of these LuckFoxes have different names. Otherwise, you can get some conflicts happening in the MQTT protocol. So change your host name. There's a little section here, if you haven't watched the previous video on how to do that, then you can do that here. So notice I'll pull up another. You can see here I'm Darren at LuckFox 206, and we can see the LuckFox 206 up here. This is LuckFox 204. So I've just labeled them by the last 3 digits of their IP address. Okay, so section 5 here. So we'll run sudo apt update. And I will pause the video. Okay, so it's done with the update. So now we're ready to move on to install the Mosquitto client. I've made a little cheat sheet for me so I don't have to copy off of the PDF. I've noticed that when I copy off of the PDF, sometimes spaces will get put in here. For example, there should be no space here between Mosquitto and clients, and that sometimes in the copy gets put in place. So if you're having a little trouble with your copying, make sure that you check on that. So let's go ahead and run this. This should install our Mosquitto clients. So I'll pause the video and restart when it's done. Okay, so it's done installing the Mosquitto clients. So now we need to configure, we need to change the configuration file, the Mosquitto configuration file. So let's go ahead and do sudo I'll copy this here. So here's our config file. Now we want to add this bit over here. So this just gives the listener port here. This is what the default for the Mosquitto protocol or the MQTT protocol. And then this then would allow for just anything to report to the broker. Okay, so we've now done that. So we want to restart the Mosquitto with the new configuration. And so you shouldn't see anything there, but we'll verify that it's listening with grep here. And notice, so we're grepping this 1833, so that's that port that is the default port there. Oop, big problem again. Yep, so copying from the PDF, careful here. And we see that this is listening here. So we should see a line like this, and we see a line like that. Okay. All so the broker is set up here now. So now we want to prepare all the other boards as a client. So as I mentioned, we're not going to do every board in this video. You would just do this for those boards, but we'll do that now on this board. So the first thing we need is to install this Python package, PAHO. So we'll go sudo pip install PAHO MQTT. So the programs that we talked about right at the beginning, they'll call this in order to communicate via MQTT. So this is a Python-based library for doing that. And I'll pause. Oh, no, I guess I don't need to. It went faster than I thought. Now, this is technically all you need, but you can also install this next line. And what that does is it allows for just command line to become a listener, so you don't have to have it embedded in a Python program. So just for completeness, we'll go ahead and do that. But we had already, I mean, I guess in a sense we already did this. See right there. So we've installed this as a client already. So you can do that on your other LuckFoxes, but you don't need to. You can just use the Python package. So I won't do that here. It's already installed from above. Okay, so let's try now. Hopefully everything will work, and we will try the scripts. So let's go ahead and run. Hopefully I have all my packages and dependencies in. I had something got corrupted with this card, so I had to re-image the entire card and start from scratch. So walked through all the stuff we had done in all the other previous videos, and hopefully got everything done right. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, looks like we're coming alive. And so see if I can zoom in on this a little closer. Obviously, it's tough to see be hard for this camera to focus on that. Okay, we are seeing 204, 202, 20. We're seeing all the other ones come to life, but not 206 itself. Because it's not running. So let me close out of this. I need to first have, what's it called? Status. So I've already set up the other ones to run on boot, which is what we'll do next for this one. But that is not the case for 206 because we started from scratch here. So 206 was never reporting. So I will run this. Okay, now what I need to do, I'm going to pause the video just so I need to open another terminal and then run the reporter. So I'm gonna pause the video, get another one, open up, log in, and then run the display on that one. Okay, back with a new terminal. The reporter program is running and so now we'll do the display program here. Hopefully this now will light up and all of them will appear. Okay, so I think it might be just clear enough to see, and they're always placed in order: 200, 202, 204. And we're reporting the temperature. So these data that are showing up on the terminal, these are what are showing up here. So they're appearing as the packets of information in the MQTT message. So actually, let me go ahead and stop this. So we can look at the code here a little bit. We won't get too much into the code, but and there are other good videos on how to do the protocol, MQTT protocol. So one of the things we'd be looking for is who's the broker. So this is LuckFox 206. So this is the IP address for that. And then this is that 1883 port that we saw when we were setting things up. Then let's see. The MTT always has a topic, so you subscribe to a topic, so you're not getting all the information from the broker, just those topics. And so this is, you'd have to specify a topic, so this could be the LuckFox board status, and this is a different topic for each board, but we want each board to have its own report. And then let's see, I think I'm going to pause the video, find it in here, so you have to watch me scroll through this, and I'll show you the information that's being sent. Okay, finally found it. So the status payload. So it's the topic and then the payload, and so we're sending the board ID, the IP address. That's not being displayed, but the IP address, it's only displaying the board, and it's truncating off the LuckFox dash, so it's just saving some room on there, and then the temperature, the memory usage, the uptime, and then the time of day. So that's the payload here. So that's information that's been put into this program that Gemini really helped me write this. Again, not talking too much about the program itself, but that if you needed to modify something, you could modify something by changing the payload here. Okay, so let's now move on to getting this set up so that it starts on boot, so you don't have to open up two terminals, get them running like I did here. Because we would want this, something like this, the application here, you'd want it to come up whenever the network comes up. So maybe there's a power outage, it comes back up, you want to just have this come up and not have to physically go in and do that. So I'll get rid of one of these terminals. And let's proceed then through automating the scripts. Okay. So on each board, so I've done this on all the other boards, but let's just do it on board 206 here now. So we have to create this file, this status. You could call it anything you want, but this service file, this .service file. And we have what we need to put in here. And sorry, got split over 2 pages here, but let's grab that now. And I think that's all. So Control X. All right. Now, the next thing we do, oh, yeah, let me go back to that. So a couple of important things for you here. So this is the directory, right? So you need to change that if it's different. So likely it wouldn't be Darren here. And then if you called it something different, then you would need to change that. That's perfectly fine to call it whatever you want. This is my second iteration, so I just called it Status Reporter 2. Okay, now we need to create another service for, so this is the reporter. So that's what's running on all the machines. Now we need this one to come up with the display reporter. So let's go ahead and do that. So it'll be a very similar thing. And so we'll copy all of this. This would be where you would need to change. So right in here and right in here. This is, you don't have to worry about this if you've got this in here, but I struggled with this for quite a while. When the system boots up, it wants to run this thing too soon. And so then everything seems to be working fine in the end when it's all done, but the display program tried to run and then couldn't, and so the OLED just never came on. So what I did was I timed how long it took for my LuckFox to start up once I plugged it back in. And I get about 24 seconds or so. So I just almost doubled that to give it plenty of time to start. So and for an application like this, if it takes 40 seconds for the display to come on, that's no big deal. So I just overkilled it a little bit. And so this program won't start, it'll start upon boot up, but it'll have a 40-second delay before it starts. So that's something that was a difficult thing to finally figure out here. All right, so that's that. There's a little note here. I'm going to talk about this right next. This was another thing that was hard to figure out. The program will run just fine as we saw it when you're running with Python, but when you try to run it without Python, I think through the Python program, it gives you access to the I2C ports, but when you're outside of that, you don't have that. So in the Linux environment, you have to give yourself, you have to make yourself part of the I2C group. So we'll do that now. Sudo usermod AG, and then I2C, and we'll add ourselves to that. So whatever you are working as, add yourself to this group. Okay, I think we're ready to get it going here. So to do a few things to just reload. I did have a typo, and again, it's copying from the PDF. So if you're doing that and you're facing some of this, it's likely it's adding some extra spaces. So let me go back, and we have too many spaces here. So let me rerun this. Okay, now let's proceed, and hopefully things will work. Now it's possible I need to reboot here to get myself in the I2C group, but let's see if we can so let's start the service. Now if it doesn't come up, it means I am not in the, I probably do need a reboot, but that's okay. We're gonna do that in a bit here, but just see if it's running. And we'll check the status of that. And it's active and running, but we don't see it on the screen here. Oh, this is just a reporter. Okay, so we need to now do this again for the display. So we can go ahead and Control C out of this, and so we want to just repeat this now for the OLED display. So let me do this, and then we'll grab for the displays. Okay, so I cut out a little bit of time there. It initiated that 40 seconds, and we can see it's up and running here now. So we don't really need to check on the service because we can see that. Okay, so be a little patient there. It has to wait that 40 seconds. Okay, well, it's all up and going good. So the very last thing we need to do is just make sure that this works when it's powered down and then comes back up. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I think I'm going to log out of everything. So I'm going to pause the video here, log out of all the other LuckFoxes, and then be back. Okay, I'm all logged out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unplug the power from to the rack and then plug it back in. Should take 40 seconds so it should come up, take 40 seconds before it starts to display. So I'll probably cut some of that out, but let's give that a try now. Okay, so now we see it starting to come up, and 200, 206, all of them are there. Did nothing with Python, it just booted right up, and so you could imagine that that's something for this application we would definitely want to have. Further, if you were here for the previous video, the drive is all synced. So we have a good little system here where it's reporting its status, it has a sync drive, and so now what we'll do later in this series is try to use the system as a whole to do different sorts of problems. So where the synergy of working together could be helpful for a particular application.